Hello, Joe Appleyard here from the DIMP Digital Podcast. You're about to listen to the third and final part of the Metal Gear Solid special. If you've missed the previous two, make sure you go back and check them out. Alex Menzies, once again, the guest, and we go out in style on this one. We chat about Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes, and we really do start to get excited about the upcoming Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain. Spoilers will be present, so you have been warned. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Beep. Now, we'll move on to the last sort of part of this. Let's touch on Peace Walker, because that sort of sets the scene for what is about to come and what is come in a prologue in terms of Ground Zeroes. But Peace Walker came out on the PSP, didn't it? The PlayStation Portable.
Yeah.
It was also released as part of that HD, the Metal Gear Solid HD pack, which I think included 2, 3, and this. I unfortunately never got around to playing Peace Walker because I didn't have a PSP, and by the time it came out, for whatever reason, I was just into other things, and I didn't want to. The only reason I would have bought that package was to play Peace Walker, but the fact that it came out on a handheld sort of put me off a little bit.
Yeah.
I thought, it's just going to be a bit not enough depth, and it's going to be a bit shallow.
Yeah.
Am I wrong to have assumed that? Does it stand up as a console game, or can you tell you're playing a handheld game when you're playing it on this HD pack?
In all honesty, while I was playing it, it didn't appear that it was created as a handheld game. It looked like a PS2 game because that's the sort of graphics that was standing out on the handheld console. Sure. But I really didn't like it at first. I really, really hated the game, and I kind of forced myself to play it. The cutscenes are they're comic. Yeah, they're done as like a graphic novel type thing,
sure,
where you've got the you've got commands that come up every now and again, like to shoot or whatever during these sort of like graphic novel things that are on the screen. It was done all right. That was the only thing that made you think, okay, this is meant more for a sort of handheld console where you haven't got, you're not going to necessarily invest too much time watching cutscenes. You just got these little things that appear. There's there's all dialogue throughout them and everything else. Don't get me wrong, it was done all right, but that was the only thing it was lacking. Like I say, I didn't like it at first. I didn't like the game mechanics. I didn't like the style of the gameplay. However, once I got about halfway through the game, and started to understand what they were trying to achieve with it, and the new mechanics that they'd introduced, I was like, "Fucking hell, this is actually really clever." Because
Sorry, go on.
They introduced this recruiting system, which they've obviously now they're building on massively for the new games. But the ability to you meet soldiers in the field. If you don't kill them, you can scan them. You get a little scanner, like the scope in the first game. Scan them up, and it tells you what their abilities are, how strong they are. If they're intelligent, where they would be best suited, and you sort of build your base. Back, what do they call it? Outer Haven or something?
That's what they've.
Yeah,
the mother base.
The mother base, and you've got little departments within that mother base. So you've got the research and development department. You've got like a canteen to keep all your soldiers fed and stuff like that. And there was a lot that went into it. I mean, this was just the setup, that side of the game in itself. It was set up in kind of like a Football Manager way, where you didn't really you didn't see how everything played out. You just see
you're managing like a stats.
That's it. You're just that's all you're doing with it. But the end result of that is that you get enough people in your research and development department. You go out on the field on these missions throughout the main storyline, and you pick up like blueprints for weapons and stuff like that. You send it back to your R&D department. If you got depending on the number of people that you got there and their overall sort of level of ability, intelligence, or whatever, they would develop these new weapons for you that you could have sent out to you in the field. So it was really, really well done in that aspect. The game itself, if you weren't a fan of the series, I don't think you'd like it. But it really it sets up a lot for what we're going to see, what we've already seen in Ground Zeroes, and what we're going to see in Phantom Pain, and that's where that's where the main sort of gold is with that particular game.
Yeah, so I didn't play it, and obviously I knew that it's going to be a lot of references to Peace Walker in the new game, Ground Zeroes and the Phantom Pain. So I went and I found one of these 3-hour or 4-hour YouTube movies. Of Peace Walker, sat through that and got sort of up to speed. I do wish I'd gone back and played it, but for whatever reason, I just didn't pick it up at the time. And by the time I'd sort of thought about, I realised that Ground Zero was going to be heavily influenced by the story. I'd already sort of semi-retired the 360 and been on the Xbox One and PlayStation 4, so it was a bit of a struggle for me. Does it hit the high notes of the other games in terms of maybe the story? I mean, I think losing the cutscenes takes a lot out of what we know as a Metal Gear Solid game.
Yeah.
But does it, in terms of, like, say, if you was looking at it from a total package, does it hit the high notes of the previous sort of bigger budget games? It doesn't.
It doesn't really. It doesn't have the same feel. It's like completely different. Even to Metal Gear Solid 3, it's completely different. Right. It's a lot more. The gameplay is a lot more rigid. It's not as immersive, and I think a lot of that comes from, as you say, the cutscenes not being a part of it. The story leaves a lot to be desired. I just got lost with what was going on in the actual story itself. To be honest, I could probably do with doing what you've done and go back and actually watch something that's dedicated to just giving you, what's actually fucking going on. It just, I don't know what was. At one point towards the end of the game, you're infiltrating this base where you're going to find out this sort of Metal Gear project that they've got going on, and then you're watching these graphic novel scenes on the screen, and you're right. Okay, I've got to press triangle to do it. Right, that's fine. That's going on. There's someone talking. There's a bad guy. Who the fuck is this guy? And you're just like, where did he? At what point did he come into the story? And then the next minute, I'm on a fucking horse going somewhere, not playing it, just watching him on a horse, and it's like press X to jump and shit like this. And I just got lost with it, and then all of a sudden I'm like in front of this massive robot, and I'm like, fuck, how did I get here?
Sounds like he's cracking up.
Yeah, it gets a bit. Yeah.
I think that was my worry, is that because I'd played the other two. Obviously, up until that point, I played all the games that were on the main consoles. It's because it was designed for a portable, that when I played it, I knew it just wouldn't feel like it had the features of the old games, and I don't know. I had this conception that it was a big game. It sounded like to me. It didn't sound like it was a quick sort of. I could get through it just to play the story. I don't know if that's true or not.
You can do a quick playthrough. What you do get, I mean, you get the sort of portable ops style thing alongside the main storyline, where you can go in and you can add more people to your to your mother base or whatever, and doing these extra little missions. It works in the same format as what it did on Ground Zeroes with the extra missions that you've got. I mean,
you could bin those off.
You could bin those off. You didn't have to do it.
Did it make it harder to progress through the story though? Because I assume by doing these side bits, you would get upgrades.
Yeah.
Not in your technology.
It did lend a little to the main sort of game itself, but not too much. I mean, you can pretty much could plow through it and try and skip everything if you wanted to. Apart from these these sequences where you've got to do the button commands. That's the only thing you can't skip, I think. But it's I mean, you don't really have to know the story, because, as I say, I didn't really follow it, and I was quite comfortable when I got to playing Ground Zeroes to know enough of what had happened, what was going on there and then.
Sure. Yeah. I mean that sounds like a good point to move into Ground Zeroes. That was released 2014 on across multi-platform, old gen, current gen, whatever you like to call it. It's on both. Bit more again, we'll start with some controversy.
Yeah.
There's one guy that we haven't mentioned throughout the entire talking of this, who for me, he is Snake. It's David Hayter. He does the voiceover of Big Boss and Snake, and he's just as to me, he's just as important as perhaps maybe anything in the game. Having him as Snake, he's so iconic. His gruff voice, all that sort of stuff. You just know him instantly who he is. It's so recognisable, and to fans they love him. But he's been doing it since Metal Gear Solid 1. now sacked him. Well, they've not sacked him, but he's been replaced by Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah.
Now, he's now taken on the mantle as boss or Snake, big boss or Snake, whatever you want to call him. When I first heard it, I was like, oh, what?
Yeah.
It doesn't. To be fair to it, having played through Ground Zeroes, I think Kiefer does a decent job. He's got that voice that lends itself to if you was going to imagine another version of Snake, I think Kiefer does a decent enough job.
Yeah.
It's passable because he's got that gravelly sort of, interpretation of it all. But
it's a bit more approachable, though, isn't it, to Snake?
Yeah, that's true.
It's somewhat more believable, I suppose, but.
Yeah, it is a new generation of games that looks like they're looking to. It looks like a total change from what they've gone through previously. It's not a disaster, but it just seems a bit of an odd change to me. Where do you stand on it? The whole Kiefer Sutherland and David Hayter.
Well, I think they.
Was you heartbroken?
I was a little bit
because they got a lot of flack for this.
Yeah, I know.
They got shit
and
on.
I don't know if they with the Japanese version of the game, if they kept the same. I
think they kept the same
person doing it because with obviously the with the Western version of the game, you get to the end of MGS4 and you're like, Big Boss when he meets Snake, they don't have the same voice. So okay, there's got to be a change that happens somewhere along the line and.
Maybe his voice breaks. Or
Ocelot's bought him a packet of Strepsils and just gone, there you go, mate. I'll tell you what, you've had this sore throat for fucking years. It's been doing my head in. Just have that. And he's like, oh, that's better. I mean, he doesn't go, oh, because that wouldn't fit in with the tone of the game. But still, I didn't mind it.
I thought they was going to use the same guy that had done the Big Boss voice. Well, that makes sense. Like maybe he's at some point he matures and I don't know, your voice gets deeper or lighter or whatever it changes. But it certainly got a lot of flack, and it does seem strange that they've kept the original person in the Japanese version of the games. And it seems like to me it was a bit of a stunt, a PR stunt to get a bit more interest in the game. Kiefer Sutherland's done 24, which is revitalise his career, and he's a big star these days.
Yeah.
And having that name as part of the game, I think is what's influenced it. But having said that, I love David Hayter. I would have loved to keep him, but I've not got too much of an issue with it because Kiefer Sutherland does a good job in what I've seen so far. I like the way he's delivering his lines, and at the end of the day, Big Boss is different to Snake. As much as they want to say, they're clones and whatnot, they are different people at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It works. I just wish they'd done this in Metal Gear Solid 3 so it was consistent, but that's just me having that sort of OCD anxiety. I want everything to be perfect, but you try and read into the story of Metal Gear Solid enough, there's always gaps and there's all sorts of stuff going on.
Yeah, and there's going to be shit that's not right.
Yeah. I think that was the main controversy for this, but also the fact the game was very short. I think it took me about 100 minutes to get through it, and I was going very slowly. It wasn't a full price retail game.
It was about 20 quid or something, wasn't it? I mean, the good thing about it, mate, is that you're referring to it as a game and not a demo, which is what people keep fucking saying, and it's doing my head in because it shouldn't bother me. It really shouldn't bother me, but it's just like, well, what do you expect? I mean, I'm not going to lie, I did expect it to be a lot. A lot more than what it was. I thought I was going to get to have a bit more of a playthrough. I thought at the end of it, I was like, oh, fuck, I've done the first mission. This is fucking brilliant. And then it ended and I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. And it was my birthday as well, and I was really upset. And,
how long did that take for you to get through that initial playthrough?
It was about 4 hours because I did absolutely everything that you could do in that bit.
But before progressing it, so you didn't go and rescue Chico?
No, I didn't do the things that basically trigger the end of that mission. Yeah. I wanted to give it a lot of time and look at all the different areas. I literally just explored that whole area, and it's a decent sized map for what it is. But I was a bit disappointed. But then you've got all the other side ops missions to do as well. Yeah. You've got the different difficulties. They released the 2 DLCs. Sure. It is what it is. What do you expect for 20 quid? It's a gorgeous looking game with the Fox engine. It's smooth as anything.
It's almost like, I think they, it could have been. It seems more like the prologue to Metal Gear Solid 2, where this is like the tanker equivalent.
Yeah,
and you feel like that could have been. It could have been the Phantom Pain, and then Ground Zeroes is part of that. Is that prologue bit, and it leads into it. It was in a state to release. They didn't charge full price for it, and I didn't have too much of a problem. Yes, it was a tad short, but the experience I had playing, I think I took an hour and a half to play through that. It was an hour and something to play through the first bit, and I was trying to do it perfectly. I was trying to do it like slow and steady, like typical Snakes fashion, rather than just slitting through. I was just trying to do it that way. But it was worth the £20 to experience all the new stuff they've added for that first playthrough for the first time, and then to be able to go back and play around and mess around with it with the side ops. That was, for me, was worth it. I mean, there's a lot of changes that have taken place. It's a very open area. Previously in our games, they're cordoned off, aren't they? There's you'll walk to a certain area, it'll close off and load a new area. This is one big sort of set piece that you can go to. No on-screen radar, again, that's gone. The alert statuses are all sort of visual and audio cues, so that little box in the top left-hand corner doesn't appear anymore. I like the binoculars that you've got. You can tag enemies, see where they're going.
That's really useful. Yeah,
very handy and good. It's a good sort of addition to it, and you've got your iDroid map, which is like a holographic thing. Reflex mode.
That was really good.
It's so handy because we're not perfect. I'm certainly not. I'm clumsy, and you just don't see people sometimes. You wander out, and you go. Basically, it slows it down. It gives you that chance just to rectify a mistake, because you could be on a perfect run, and then some cunt sees you, and you'll be livid with yourself. This gives you a chance just to pop a shot in the head or knock them out, and I think it's a great little addition to it. And just being able to drive vehicles. I don't know if you could do that on Peace Walker. You might have been able to, but I remember my first playthrough, I drove out of there. I got the big lorry, drove out there undetected, and I was like, this is brilliant. I'm driving around here and I'm not being spotted. It's so much stuff they've added, and it's a great.
You can go back over it, like I say. You can play it through so many. You can do it in a different way. You can literally, with that one, you can go in guns blazing, which you can't necessarily do in the other Metal Gear games.
And it's made to play either or, isn't it? And if it does go wrong, you've got the skill there to be able to actually recover yourself, and get out of that spot and get away and whatnot. Whereas in the other ones, you're sort of like, wow, I'm going to get done over. And that was the end of it.
I do. I like the information gathering aspect of it as well. I like the way you listen in. You've got the directional microphone built into your binoculars.
Sure.
So you can you listen to the guards talking. You can find out like where ammunition is kept or something like that, for example. Find out where certain weapons are kept.
And it marks it on your map for you.
Yeah.
So you don't have to just remember it. It goes, it's in the hut, and you think, right, where's the hut? Yeah. Whereas now it will mark it, so you've got that there as a referencing point. So if you want to go and explore and do this, it's easier, it's more accessible. I think it was a good job, and I don't understand. I understand the flack.
Yeah, people just need to chill out. Like, don't get so emotional about it. I mean, there's no need to be angry with it. It's like, all right,
don't buy it if you don't want it. It's quite obvious that it was short. When they tricked you, and went, this is Metal Gear Solid 5, the full game. It was quite open that it was going to be. I think they did. Someone said there's hundreds of hours of content. And I was like, well, that's probably not quite true, but. If you read the reviews, you knew exactly what you were getting in for. Yeah, so if you don't like it, don't.
The thing is, if Konami had come out and said, we're releasing this game, it is a prologue effectively for Phantom Pain. It will work as a demo for the gameplay and blah. Just really emphasize that it is a short piece. Yeah, it's going to be like 25-30 quid.
It's like a showcase. For what's to come,
it's there if you want it. No one would have batted an eyelid. So what's the fucking difference? You would have, if you're a fan of the series, you would have spent that cash. If they'd have told me, right, you get a 5-minute segment, like how you used to get in demos where you got a 5-minute limit. You've got a massive area that you can explore. You can go quite far into the game, but you've got a 5-minute limit of time with what what you can do. If they'd have released that and said, look, this is what we're giving you for the time being. This is all we can release because we really want to polish this and make it amazing. It's going to be 20 quid if you want access to it. Everyone would have fucking done it, I bet you.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you're right. I think you're right there.
Just shut up about it. It's done with. Do you know? It's 20 quid. That's what 4 Big Mac meals. No, hold on. No, 4 Big Mac meals, isn't it? Yeah, 4 Big Mac meals. So there you go. Count everything in life. Count it in Big Mac meals, and you can't go wrong.
You will soon learn the value of what things are expensive,
exactly,
and what things aren't. Yeah, it's whetted the appetite so much, and as we move into let's talk about the Phantom Pain.
Yeah, here we are.
We're here now.
We've given the rundown.
This year, we've done the historic stuff, and it was great to reminisce about all the great moments that Metal Gear Solid has to offer. But we're on the cusp of the Phantom Pain now. It's coming. Well, I believe it's coming out this year. I've not heard any sort of other delays. I've been told that it's coming at some point this year, and it's my most anticipated game, I think, for 2015, without a doubt.
Yeah.
It's got me to that stage where I get so excited for things that I just think, please don't let me die before this comes out. Do you know what I mean? I want to play it.
You're gonna be a wandering spirit, like afterwards. I've finished business. I didn't get to play Phantom Pain.
Yeah, exactly. It's getting to that stage, and I don't know if you've seen the demos they've released. There's been I think it's been a 20-minute one.
Yeah, they've done loads of shit at E4 2014, didn't they?
That's it. Yeah, and showed off the day-night cycle that's going, the based. What's that parachute thing that takes things away? It's in Peace Walker.
That's in Peace Walker, the Fulton recovery system. That's how you recruit your people.
That's it.
For your mother base. But now they've taken it a step further, obviously, with the animals. You can nick sheep and train them to be your mission support. They've done a whole trailer that I watched this morning, actually, of a wolf. Or a husky or whatever that you I think they actually showed this at E3 as well. In part of the gameplay, you find a puppy and you send him back to Mother Base, and Ocelot raises it, and you take it on missions with you as your mission support. So it looks amazing. Like they've all the things that they've done in the previous games. It's like they've been setting up for this one massive Phantom Pain. Like it's going to be huge. Like the map apparently is 300 times larger than Ground Zeroes.
Yeah, that is insanity.
It's ridiculous.
And again, I think every game we've talked about, we've mentioned it. It looks like they're pushing everything to the max. They're trying all these new things. They're throwing. It's always a difference. There's always something unique to the Metal Gear Solid games that they seem to add. And this is no different. Having it in an open world and having these various ways of infiltrating and getting into places, and just using the environment. Like we talked about the day-night cycle. You can skip to night, or you can skip to a certain point in the day where it might not be night, it could be day, where there's less guards on duty at that time.
Yeah,
it's
just
things
amazing.
Like that they're adding in.
You got the weather changes as well, like the sandstorms and stuff like that, to provide you with further cover. Obviously, Big Boss is fucked up at the end of Ground Zero, and we get the for those who have seen the sort of extended sort of prelude or trailer or whatever to Phantom Pain that sort of bridges the gap between Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain. He loses an arm and a leg, and he's now got this sort of bionic arm on the go, which they've somehow it's allowed him the ability to bring back the knock.
Knock, we didn't even mention the knock, did we? But the knock on Metal Gear Solid 1, you could bang on the wall to distract it, but now he can click it and it'll I've missed that.
Yeah,
that was a handy
I know, because they didn't have that. I a couple of weeks back, I went to do another playthrough of Ground Zeroes just to in this in the agony of waiting for Phantom Pain to come out, and I tried to do the knock, and I was like, what am I fucking doing? Where what button is it? And I was fucking about, and I ended up getting spotted in the end because I was fucking about with the controls trying to find the knock. And I was like, oh yeah, they took it out, didn't they? Yeah, shit. But at least you can do things like grab people from like behind walls. Like you don't have to.
I forget completely about that.
You don't have to run around the wall to grab it, like a low wall. I'm not talking about a complete divide between you and them. Like just those low walls that you've got, those little barriers. You can you can just fucking trounce them over that and slam them on the floor, can't you?
Yeah, it certainly looks cracking. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with the story. I mean, it seems. I don't like to speculate in case I ruin it for myself.
Yeah,
I want to try and be surprised by it all.
There's part of me that's not bothered about the story anymore, though. Because after I played through Peace Walker, and I thought, well, I've done it, and I haven't really paid attention to what's going on with the story, and I've still enjoyed it. It's still given me that experience of playing a Metal Gear game. Same with Ground Zeroes. You didn't really. There wasn't much of a story there, really. You're just put into this like little mission, and it's like, right, okay. Paz and Chico, they've been fucking kidnapped. Yeah. They're being tortured. Yeah. Go and rescue them. You rescue them, then she does what she does, and they all get absolutely fucked up. And so I don't feel that it's going to have a massive impact for me personally if the story is fucking ridiculous.
The thing is, I don't think it will be. I've got complete confidence it'll be. But I agree that it's probably less of an issue because they've got all these. It's a brand new outlook on the way the game's going to be played, but I still think they've still got the whole cinematic feel that the opening. We're going to Ground Zero. The opening to Ground Zeroes, where you got that tune playing, me and you. And
because that was on the credits of MGS4, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's it. And it's just they still got it in that terms of creating a cinematic experience and nailing that. I've watched that about 4 times. Yeah. I love that starting. It's just one of the best openings to a game I've seen. Yeah. I'm not too. I mean, it's going to have its typical Metal Gear Solid mental parts in it. I mean, he's got a bionic arm and a bionic leg. Master Miller, he's in it. He looks like he's lost a leg as well. I think he's
poor bastard
hobbling around. Yeah, he's had a real sick.
Kazanira, I think his name, isn't it? Kazanira Miller.
Yeah, that's it. And then you've got also the this big jagged rock coming out of Big Boss's head.
Yeah, what's that about?
No, I don't know.
He's Venom Snake in this one, isn't he?
Yeah, that's it. I've heard he's been called Venom Snake.
Yeah,
he's not happy, is he?
No, I've seen that trailer they did of all their sort of dead comrades from the mother base, and he's got the ashes and he's pouring the ashes out, and he puts them on his face. Puts them on his face. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is the turning point for him. Then this is the bit where he starts to become the sort of a bad character. Because
but I think they'll spin it in such a way that I think he's doing a good thing, but it's just perceived as a bad.
He's a fallen hero sort of thing.
And he's clearly a tortured soul. What's happened, and he's absolutely
poor old
mess.
Snake.
And I think we're getting to the point now where this is my hope for the future of the series, is that we'll get round to going back to the very, very beginning of this talk, going back to Metal Gear on the NES, and we'll get those games done in 3D.
That's what I'm hoping is going to happen.
And then we'll have this whole cycle of games that are all done at this level of 3D and with the cinematics and everything. And then maybe one day there'll be a big pack released with everything in it, and we'll have the whole season story from start to finish, and it'll just be fantastic. I would pay £200.
Yeah, they probably will release it. They'll call it like the Legendary Collection or something, or the Big Boss Collection.
Snake, or Big Boss. Yeah. It'll just be something ridiculous. I think that's where we're going to. I think this will set up and be like the start of. Yeah, as you said, he's gone off the boil a bit into becoming evil, or maybe what he's doing is perceived as evil as other people.
Yeah,
he's got his reasons to do it.
Yeah, because you've got Ocelots alongside him now as well.
Yeah. He looks an old bastard.
But the thing is with Miller, because Miller is he features in Metal Gear Solid 1, doesn't he?
Well, yeah, it's thingy though, isn't it? It's Liquid.
It's Liquid in disguise. But the thing is Miller in that is still perceived as a mentor and a good person. So I don't know if there's going to be some sort of divide in the story where perhaps I don't know whether
conflict of interest.
That's it. Where Boss goes on the path along with Ocelot towards the more sort of devious scheming.
Yeah. Whatever happens, Ocelot's going to be have manipulated the situation to his own advantage.
Definitely.
He's going to have done that. And,
he wants his payout.
What's your prediction then? I mean, we talked about David Hayter not being in it. Is he going to pop up in some way or another as a young Snake, maybe, or as Is this the big boss we're playing?
I don't
there's all
know.
sorts of crazy shit going on. What's your prediction?
I wonder if the game is going to end with the sort of conception of Liquid Snake and Solid Snake and Solidus as well, actually, because it's Eva, isn't it?
Yeah,
Eva and Big Boss are obviously going to meet again at some point in the Phantom Pain.
Well, the thing is, he's already nailed her, so I'm wondering whether they're already knocking around somewhere. And
potentially, because this is...
I can't remember the timeline enough to know when they're born and shit. And
I'm not sure where Peace Walker... How long after MGS3 Peace Walker is, and the thing is that the sort of, I suppose, the genetic engineering hadn't really come into play at that stage. I think that was something that was developed within their sort of Outer Haven, their mother base thing that they're aiming for. So maybe that's something that's going to come along towards the end of the game. But I mean, the sort of characters that we've seen, these new characters that have been introduced within the trailers and stuff like that, what appear to be the bosses of the opposing side, who I'm guessing you recruit unless they're not on the opposing side, and you do recruit them throughout the story anyway.
Maybe they're bosses, and if you non-lethally take them out, you can recruit them, and if you kill them, you can't. And maybe there's that,
because we've seen that woman, the sniper, and she's got sort of like a quiet, she's
massive jugs.
She can standard Kojima fashion of bring out the big guns.
His outlook of winning.
Yeah.
It's gonna be epic, isn't it?
I mean, there's no two ways about it. It's gonna be amazing. I
can't wait till we finally get a solid release date.
Yeah, it'd be nice, because I mean, Revengeance, when they released that Metal Gear Rising, I don't know if they still called it Revengeance. Actually, they toyed about with different names, didn't they? But that was that was penned for a release date, I'm pretty sure, back in 2010, and we didn't get it till 2012 or something stupid. I don't know. It was delayed for years, so I don't know if we're going to see the same thing with this. Because
the only good point is that we've had Ground Zeroes, and that looked polished to the max. So I think the base is there.
Oh yeah, well it's all running off the Fox engine, and the map. They appear to have the structure of the map in place. They've got everything plotted out, and it's everything's there. It seems like it's ready to go, but they're not going to release it unless it's polished. There's no way in hell if they delay the.
It's not going to get a Unity, are we?
No. You're never going to get something like that from Konami. They're just not going to do that, and they're if they push it back, it's only going to be because it's not ready, and people are just going to have to accept that. But I'm hoping we are going to definitely see it this year. It seems ready from what we've seen at E4. They showed us a huge chunk of gameplay there, so I would be very surprised if it is delayed.
Sure. All's running nicely. Well, I think that wraps it up.
Yeah,
really.
I guess so. I mean, we could go on forever, mate. To be honest, there's so much to say, but.
We've missed, no doubt, loads of parts, but I think, there's bits that we've obviously not talked about, but it's impossible. There's so much depth to these games, and I think what's important is we spoke about the bits that resonated with us and the bits that we enjoyed and we remember. We're not encyclopedias, so there's going to be parts that we can't remember, we didn't mention.
That's it. There's probably a load of shit we got wrong, dates and storylines, stuff like that.
All sorts of stuff. I mean, I'm thinking of one thing now. I remember, I think it's in Metal Gear Solid 1, if you stay out in the cold too long, in that freezer too long, you pick up a cold and start sneezing. You have to go and
find the medicine.
Yeah. That would have gone unnoticed, but I mean that's the point we're pushing it. It deserves its own podcast, and it deserves this chat and this reminiscence of it all, because there's so much depth to them. They've been hitting the high marks constantly since 99, 98, and they've not sagged in quality or in content at all. It's always been one of those game series. It's always top notch, and you're getting your money's worth when you invest your £40 or your £50, or if you're picking it up pre-owned like you are, Alex, then obviously you're getting your £20. They are just brilliant, and I've really enjoyed talking about it and having this chat and having these new memories being brought back up and things I'd forgotten. So thanks for coming on and spending this excessive amount of time talking about one particular game series, but it's definitely been worth it.
Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure, mate.
Thank you. Right, if you need to get in contact with us here at Dimp Digital, you can do using our Twitter handle. It's @Dimp Digital. The Facebook page is also up and running. It's been there for a while. Facebook.com/Dimp Digital. Email address is dimpdigitalmedia@gmail.com. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Obviously, these podcasts gets posted up there as an audio only, but you've got other video content on that you can do. So check us out using YouTube, Dimp Digital, and you'll find us there. Drop us a subscribe, comment. We'll be more than happy to have a chat and interact with people. We love doing that, so hit us up and see what you like. But that's it now. Game over. It's goodbye from Alex.
Bye-bye.
And it's goodbye from me, Joe Appleyard. Thanks very much for your time, and ta-da. Female characters in Metal Gear Solid.
Oh yeah.
And then I was going to ask if I was going to do Snog, Marry, Avoid, and you sort of go Snog, Marry, Avoid.
Go on then, you're on.
Right, so this is Metal Gear Solid female characters: Snog, Marry, or Avoid. Just going to reel them all off. You give me a one-word answer for each of them. So let's start. We'll start with the big guns. Naomi Hunter.
Oh, that's a marry. You know where you are with Naomi, don't you? I mean, she's a treacherous cow, but she's intelligent. She'd really bring in.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have to worry about being the breadwinner of the household, would you? She'd bring in the bacon, and yeah.
She does top herself in the end, though. She's the one who disables.
She does. She's a little bit loose, but
you just got to keep her on track and just manage her.
You got to have something wrong with the one that you choose to be with. There's nothing wrong with Kayla. She's gonna fucking kill me. There's nothing wrong with Kayla, but a lot of people like to have someone that's a little bit loose so that it makes themselves feel better. You know, if you've got someone that's perfect, you're always going to be worrying, aren't you? And I think Naomi Hunter, she's good looking, she's intelligent. All right, she's a little bit nutty, but who isn't? So marry.
Fair enough.
There we go.
Marry. Meryl.
Avoid.
Yeah, same. She's overrated. I don't know what Snake's getting.
I know. He was a bit upset when he first saw her, and he's just like, "Oh, I don't want her to see me like this. I'm all old." And then in the first, she just looks fucking unwashed, mate. I don't like it.
She looks filthy.
She looks so fucking unwashed, and she's got the tattoo, and she's like, "Oh, don't worry, it's a paint tattoo." That's even worse, you stupid cow. What are you playing at?
Bin her off. Mei Ling.
Snog.
Smooch.
She would piss me off, I think, after a while.
Yeah. So good Snog, one night stand. Sniper Wolf.
Avoid.
Oh, I know Emmerich's had his sort of go on. Is that why? Is he sort of putting you off that he's sort of had a little bit of success
it does put her down on the sort of on the low.
Because he's pissed himself. He's walking around in pissed little jeans, and he's still getting somewhere.
He's still but she looks like she would have really bad body odor. That's the thing. I mean, Meryl looks unwashed. She doesn't necessarily look like she'd smell, but she just looks like one of those women that would always be grubby no matter how much you try and get her to clean. Whereas Sniper Wolf just looks like she would be a smelly bitch because she's she's always going on about, I can lie in wait for like 2 weeks waiting for a target, and it's just like, you filthy bitch, you're sitting there in your own shit and piss waiting for someone. She must absolutely reek, mate. And so avoid.
Avoid. Natasha Romanenko.
Avoid as well. I don't like her. She looks like the sort of person who would.
She's got a fag in her mouth.
Yeah, I don't like
filthy.
it. It's
Stop
just
that.
Like, oh no, you don't want someone who's going to smell like a stale ashtray. And also, she looks like the sort of person that would cut your balls off if you wronged her. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You don't want that.
No. Excellent. Olga Gulakarov. Oh, I can't do that. You know Olga.
Galukovic.
Olga Galukovic. Done it.
Probably Snog, actually, and I know that's weird because I've said avoid to 2 Russian women already. Yeah, but there's something kind about her. She had her own agenda, didn't she? And she she wasn't, she was trying to follow the straight and narrow. She wanted to be a good mother, and and the end result of it is that's what you want, isn't it? At the end of it all, after all the snog and avoid and marriage, whether it's successful or failed, that's what you want, is someone who's going to be a good mother to your kids. So there you go.
Rose.
Oh shit, marry, I think. Yeah, she's really good looking, isn't she?
Didn't she lie about a miscarriage though, Jack's baby? That's a bit of a.
Oh yeah, she did lie about a miscarriage.
So I can't be putting up with that personally.
She's that's very that's very Tara from Sons of Anarchy, isn't it?
Yeah,
very Tara. They look alike as well. Actually, having said that,
they do, don't they?
That's what's happened there, I think. Yeah, Kurt Sutter's been playing Metal Gear, obviously. that's what it is. I think Mary though. I still think so because she's got good intentions, and that's what counts, isn't it?
That goes a long way. Fortune.
Ooh, Snog. Out of curiosity,
I'm invincible. Yeah. No, you're not. Bang. Snog done.
Bang. Oh right. Right.
I've been playing you, bitch. Get on with it. Emma Emmerich, dead, but well, most of these people died at some point. To be fair,
I think Avoid. She looks like a 12-year-old, doesn't she?
True.
And she looks like she's into women a bit too much. So,
Eva
now.
Sort of young Eva, not
now,
old Eva in Metal Gear Solid 4, where she's.
I don't know.
Would you like
a piece of Big Mama? I don't know. No,
Big Mama,
definitely not. No, I think Snog. I think after she left, she took it as a one-night stand, and you could see that Snake was gutted. So I think she can't be fucking trusted, can she?
No. Is there any of the Beauty and the Beast corps, those enemies from 4, that you'd consider? To be honest, they all look a mess.
Yeah, I mean they're all pretty messed up.
They're all torture. They're like Big Boss. In Phantom Pain, they're all fucked up in the head.
Crying Wolf definitely not, because she smothered a child, didn't she?
Yeah,
she smothered a child, and nobody wants to go there, do they? Nobody wants to go. She's far too unhinged. You like them a little bit unhinged, so that they make you feel better about yourself, but not that psychotic. Unhinged. So I think all of them is a no, really. Too much baggage.
Yeah, the last one, Quiet. We haven't seen much of her, but we've only seen a few snippets of her.
I don't know. She looks a bit unwashed as well. Or she looks like the sort of woman that would smell not necessarily like body odor, but like she's washed, but she's washed in the sea and smells a little bit too salty. Yeah.
So
not that I've experienced that in the past, but that sort of, I don't know, that sort of Southend Pier stench. She looks like that's
know it all too well.
Yeah, that's what she. Yeah, no, avoid at all costs.